You probably think the smartphone market has officially peaked. You look at the current models and think sure, the camera is a little better, the processor is slightly faster, but the absolute magic is gone. The era of complete industry disruption feels completely dead. Well, I know exactly why you feel that way, but you're completely wrong. Apple hasn't been sleeping, they have been waiting. And what they are about to drop is going to make every single Samsung executive suddenly need a very stiff drink. We are talking about the Apple Foldable, but there is a massive secret about the screen tech that no one is talking about. A literal invisible engineering trick that will make current Android foldables feel like a 1990s dial-up modem. I'm going to break down exactly what that secret is, along with the real price, the release date, and why this device might not even be called the iPhone Fold. But we will get to that crazy screen tech in a minute. First, we have to talk about the reality of this timeline. For years we have heard the rumors. Apple is making a foldable, Apple is making a foldable. It became the boy who cried wolf of the tech world. But here's the thing, we are officially past the rumor stage. We have actual dummy units floating around the supply chain, display production lines are spinning up, and heavy hitters like Bloomberg's Mark Gurman and supply chain analyst Ross Young are dropping incredibly specific details. When guys like Gurman start talking publicly, that is basically Apple's unofficial PR department telling us to get our wallets ready. The current target is 2026, landing right alongside the iPhone 18 lineup. Now I know what some of you are thinking, 2026. Samsung is already on the Z Fold 6, Apple is a decade late, and honestly, you're not entirely wrong, but think back to the original iPhone or the Apple Watch. Apple is never the first one to the party. They let everyone else trip over the furniture, figure out where the drinks are, and then they walk in and own the room. But here's where it gets insane, they might not release it in September with the rest of the phones. Supply chain whispers suggest they might hold it back until December of 2026, a completely standalone launch for a first-generation product, which makes perfect sense when you realize what they are trying to pack inside this chassis. Let's talk about the design, because this isn't just two regular iPhones duct taped together. Picture this, a device so incredibly thin that when it is closed, it feels exactly like a normal smartphone. Not a heavy brick weighing down your pocket, not something that feels like you're carrying around an old VHS tape, but an ultra-thin flat-edged slab. There are strong hints from the supply chain that Apple is completely rethinking the materials for this. We are not just talking about heavy stainless steel. Rumors point to a hybrid chassis mixing titanium and aluminum. It is like NASA called and they want their metallurgy back. This keeps it extremely lightweight but rigid enough to survive the real world. And here is a wild little detail. All the physical buttons, the power, the volume, everything might sit entirely on one side of the device. It sounds weird at first, but when you unfold a device this large, having buttons on opposing sides makes it an absolute nightmare to grip securely. Oh, and forget about physical SIM cards. This is almost certainly going to be eSIM only. The physical SIM tray is officially going the way of the headphone jack, but the real question is how you unlock it. Some leaks suggest a massive return of Touch ID integrated directly into the power button, which would be a huge blast from the past. But Face ID is still the crown jewel, assuming they can fit the depth sensors into a device this crazy thin. Speaking of thin, let's talk dimensions, because this is where Samsung really needs to pay attention. Unfolded, this new Apple device is rumored to be incredibly thin, possibly even thinner than the upcoming iPhone Air. Think about that, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold sits around 4.2 millimeters when open. Apple is aiming to undercut that completely, and the battery. You would think a phone this impossibly thin would completely die by lunchtime, but Apple is reportedly stuffing a massive 5,000 to 5,500 mAh battery inside. That is the biggest battery ever put into an Apple phone. They are treating this less like a phone and more like a portable command center. But all of this power and sleek design means absolutely nothing if the screens are terrible. And that brings us to the displays, and the massive, invisible secret I promised you earlier. Inside, you are looking at a sprawling 7.8-inch display. That is essentially an entire iPad mini that folds up and slides effortlessly into your jeans. On the outside, a 5.3 to 5.5-inch cover screen. Now that outer screen is slightly on the smaller side, maybe a bit cramped for fast one-handed typing. The panels are almost certainly coming from Samsung Display, because let's be totally honest, Samsung makes the best screens in the world, even if they're selling them to their absolute biggest rival. But here is the massive difference, and the secret weapon Apple has been spending billions of dollars on, the crease. If you have ever used an Android Foldable, you know exactly what I am talking about. That annoying, completely visible gutter running right down the middle of the screen. It constantly catches the glare, you feel it every single time you swipe. It constantly reminds you that you are using a compromised piece of folding glass. Apple's solution is brilliant, a complete re-engineering of the folding mechanism. They are utilizing a brand new liquid metal hinge paired with reinforced variable thickness glass and a completely new optically clear adhesive bonding process. In plain English, they are making the crease literally disappear. If they pull this off, and my gut says they will, it is game over for the competition. But wait, there is a catch. To get the phone this thin and to eliminate that crease entirely, they had to make a sacrifice. And it is one that might genuinely make you think twice before buying. Let's talk about the cameras. because this is where the physical reality of the world finally catches up with Apple's engineering team. You are not getting the massive, gigantic lenses from the Pro Max line on this foldable. You simply cannot fit that kind of heavy optics into a chassis this thin without a camera bump that looks like a hockey puck. The current supply chain reports point to a dual 48-megapixel rear camera setup, with two front-facing 18-megapixel cameras for FaceTime. It is perfectly fine, essentially iPhone Air-level quality. But if you are an absolute photography purist who needs a 5x optical zoom to take pictures of the moon, this might not be the device for you. Performance-wise, it will be an absolute monster, likely packing the upcoming A20 or A20 Pro chip, paired with at least 12 gigabytes of RAM to handle that massive inner display. But raw hardware is only half the battle. A giant folding screen is totally useless if the software treats it like an afterthought. And that is exactly why Apple is quietly rewriting the rules with iOS 27. We are not just talking about taking a regular iPhone app and stretching it out until it looks completely ridiculous. Gurman's reports indicate Apple is building proper, true multitasking from the ground up. Think iPad-style workflows, native app resizing, the ability to actually run your entire business from a screen that fits perfectly in your pocket. They are pitching this device on four main pillars: durability, raw performance, that perfectly invisible crease, and proper multitasking. And because it is practically a mini MacBook in your pocket, there is a very strong rumor that Apple flat out refuses to call this the iPhone Fold. Fold is what Samsung does. Apple likes to act like they completely invented the category. That is why you should firmly brace yourself for the iPhone Ultra. It sounds incredibly expensive, it sounds ultra premium, and honestly it sounds exactly like the kind of clever, ego-driven naming convention Apple loves, which perfectly transitions us to the most painful part of this entire breakdown: the price. I know what some of you are thinking. Alright, shut up and take my money. How much is the actual damage? You might want to sit down for this one. Right now, every credible analyst on Wall Street is circling a starting price of roughly $2,000. $2 grand, that is mortgage payment territory for a lot of folks. It is right in line with Samsung's top-tier foldables, but this is an Apple first-generation product packed to the brim with massive R&D costs. They are absolutely not cutting you a deal. But here is the absolute craziest part of this entire story. The high price might not matter at all. Wall Street projections strongly suggest Apple could grab over 20% of the entire global foldable market in its very first year. Just because it has an Apple logo stamped on the back, that ecosystem grip is no joke. Once you have the Apple Watch, the Mac, the AirPods, making the jump to an Android foldable is incredibly painful. Apple knows you are locked in, and they are going to charge you a heavy premium for the key to the next generation of tech. So let's wrap this all up. The invisible crease is completely real, the liquid metal hinge is happening. The sacrifice in the camera department is simply the heavy price we pay for an ultra-thin futuristic design, and the $2,000 entry fee is firmly going to separate the casual buyers from the true tech veterans. Apple is absolutely late to the party, but when they finally step into the ring, they do not play for second place. They want to completely redefine what a smartphone actually is. Now I want to hear from the experienced buyers out there. If Apple drops this exact $2,000 device tomorrow with the truly invisible crease and that massive battery, are you pulling the trigger on day one? Or are you letting the early adopters beta test it so you can buy a perfected version 2? Let me know exactly what your game plan is in the comments below.